You've probably thought dogs don't feel guilt. But then, why does your dog's eyes sometimes stop you in your tracks? You come home, the trash is tipped over. And there they are, hunched in a corner, silent, but staring at you like they know. Do dogs actually understand they've done something wrong, or is it just instinct? In this video, I'll walk you through 9 surprising ways dogs say, "I'm sorry." And what might shock you is, most humans completely miss the signs. After today, you'll never look at your dog's silence the same way again. So let's pull back the curtain and look at the very first sign, the subtle shift in your dog's body language that says more than words ever could. Number 1. The tail that stopped talking. You know that joyful wag your dog greets you with every time you walk through the door. That tail that dances like a little flag saying, "You're home, you're safe, I missed you." Now picture this one afternoon, you step into the house, but instead of the usual wagging whirlwind, your dog stands frozen. The tail is low, still, maybe even tucked tight between their legs. That's silence. That's not just fear. It's a quiet apology. A dog's tail is more than fur and muscle, it's a language. When your dog wags it high and loose, they're practically singing. But when it disappears, it's like the music stops. Like they're saying, "I know I messed up, and I don't know if you'll still love me." Have you ever seen that look where your dog can't meet your eye, and their tail is the only part of them that speaks? It's not guilt the way humans feel it. It's more like regret wrapped in trust. Like a child hiding behind the curtain peeking out just to see if you're still there. And here's the part most people miss, that quiet tail isn't just submission, it's vulnerability. It's your dog's way of telling you, "I know I did something wrong, but I still want to belong." Why does this matter, especially to those of us who've lived through decades of relationships, forgiveness, and trying again? Because your dog isn't showing fear, they're showing hope. The hope that love is bigger than a broken rule. But here's something even more powerful: what your dog does next. It's not just about the tail. It's what follows when they come closer, slower, pressing their nose into your hand, like they're saying, "Please don't be mad." So don't go anywhere, because the next sign is even more touching, and it might remind you of how humans reach out too, in their own silent ways. Number 2. The nose that whispers, "I'm sorry." Right after the tail goes still, there's often a pause, a space filled with tension, like the air after a door slams shut. And then something soft breaks it. A tiny nudge, a wet nose gently pressing into your hand or nudging your knee as you sit in silence. It's not random. It's not for food. It's your dog's way of saying, the one thing they don't have words for, "I want to fix this." Dogs don't use apologies like humans do. They don't say sorry with flowers or texts or long-winded talks. They use contact, intentional, tender, full of meaning. That gentle nuzzle, it's not just a plea, it's a bridge. Your dog is reaching out, testing the water, wondering if love still lives on your skin. And what's fascinating is how they do it so carefully. They don't leap into your lap. They inch forward. They lower their head. They touch you like they're trying not to break something fragile. It's not about making up. It's about reconnection. Have you ever felt that a tiny touch after a moment of tension, whether from a partner, a child, or even a friend? That small, brave gesture that says, "I still care." Do you dogs do the same thing? Because for them, love lives in closeness. There's even a science to it. Physical contact between dogs and humans boosts oxytocin, the hormone of trust. So when your dog nuzzles you after chewing up the mail, they're not just making peace, they're healing the bond with every heartbeat they press into you. But what if your dog does more than nudge? What if instead of standing beside you, they curl up right beneath you, right at your feet, like a shadow trying to become part of you again? Don't move. The next sign is quiet, but speaks louder than words. Number 3. The feet. They choose to forgive. From Have you ever noticed your dog curl up right at your feet after they've done something wrong? Not on the couch, not in their bed, but right there pressed against your slippers, like they're guarding a fragile piece. It looks simple, even sweet. But to your dog, it's so much more. It's a surrender, a soft declaration of trust, and a silent request. Let me stay close even now. In the wild, dogs seek the safest spot in the pack when they feel vulnerable. And in your home, that sacred spot is you, your legs, your scent, your warmth. Curling at your feet isn't just about comfort, it's a coded message. They're saying, "You're the leader. I know I broke the rules, but I still choose you." Isn't that something to be chosen, even after disappointment? To be approached not with arrogance, but with humility. There's something deeply human in that gesture. Like a child falling asleep outside your bedroom door after a fight. They don't need words. They just want to be near you, where love still lingers in the floorboards. And here's the insight we often miss when your dog curls by your feet after a mistake. They're not hiding. They're waiting. Waiting for your forgiveness to soak into the ground they're resting on. That quiet presence is their apology, their loyalty, and their healing all in one breath. But if you think that's tender, wait until you see what happens when the apology travels upward, when your dog's ears, usually proud and perky, suddenly fall like a soft curtain of remorse. Let's talk about what those ears are really trying to say. Number 4. Ears that fall, like forgiveness. You've seen it before. Your dog usually walks around like royalty ears perked up like little flags of confidence. But then, something shifts. You scold them gently, maybe just with your eyes, and suddenly, the ears fall. They don't just droop, they collapse, folding down like paper wings after a storm. What do you think your dog is trying to say in that moment? Those ears are more than decorations. They're emotional antennas. When they stand tall, your dog is curious, open, alert. But when they flatten, it's like a curtain is being pulled down over their feelings. It's not fear. It's not shame. It's something far more raw: remorse. For older adults who've lived through decades of human miscommunications, you know this feeling well. How often do people not say, "I'm sorry," with words, but with posture, a lowered gaze, a softened voice, or in this case, a pair of silent ears that fall like a confession? And here's what's beautiful. Your dog isn't just showing that they understand the mistake. They're showing they care about how it made you feel. That's empathy, and it's written all over their face. Some people miss this. They think the ears are just reacting to tone or tension. But if you look closely, especially when paired with a soft step or tucked tail, those ears are begging not for safety, but for reconnection. But what if your dog doesn't just show remorse through their body, but actually removes themselves entirely? Disappears into a corner, like a ghost carrying guilt. That's what we'll explore next, and it's a behavior rooted deep in both instinct and emotion. Number 5. The corner, where guilt goes to breathe. Sometimes you come home to chaos. The pillow's torn, the trash is everywhere, and your dog nowhere in sight. But you don't have to look far. There, in the quietest corner of the house, maybe behind the couch or under the table, they wait. Still, silent, almost invisible. It's easy to think they're hiding because they know they're in trouble. But if you pause, if you kneel down and really look, you'll see something else. Their body isn't just tucked away. It's folded in on itself like they're carrying the weight of your disappointment on their back. Have you ever done that? Walked away from someone you loved, not out of anger, but because you didn't know how to fix the hurt you caused? That's exactly what your dog is feeling. That corner isn't a hiding place, it's a confession booth. Dogs, like humans, retreat when they feel emotionally overwhelmed. The corner becomes a cocoon, a space where they can calm their nervous system, gather courage, and wait for the moment when you might invite them back in. And here's the loop: they're not avoiding you. They're waiting for you, for a signal that love is still on the table. But what happens when even that corner feels too close? When your dog can't even lift their eyes to meet yours? That's where we're heading next. Because in the world of dogs, silence doesn't always mean peace. It can mean apology. And nothing says that louder than a gaze turned away. Number 6. The eyes that can't bear to meet yours. There's something haunting about it. You walk into the room, the mess still fresh, your voice quiet but firm. And your dog, who normally greets you with those wide, adoring eyes, won't even look at you. Their gaze drifts to the floor, the wall, anywhere but your face. Why? Why won't they look you in the eye? Because in the world of dogs, eye contact is power. It's confidence. It's connection. And in moments of guilt, that connection feels too heavy to carry. Their eyes don't lie. They're saying, I know I've let you down, and I can't face that truth yet. It's not deception. It's not defiance. It's humility in its rawest form. You've felt that before, haven't you? That moment when you couldn't meet someone's eyes after hurting them. Not because you didn't care, but because you cared too much. The silence between glances becomes louder than words. Dogs do the same. And older hearts with decades of love and loss behind them understand this better than anyone. Sometimes looking away is how we say, I'm sorry, and I'm afraid I broke something we built. But here's what's powerful. When your dog finally does lift their eyes, even for a second, that moment is sacred. It's not just a look. It's an offering. A thread of trust, slowly tying itself back to you. And just when you think their apology can't get more vulnerable, they do something even more heartfelt. They don't use their eyes. They use their voice. A soft, trembling sound meant just for you. Wait until you hear it. Number 7. The whimper that trembles with regret. It's late. The room is quiet. The damage has been done, maybe a torn curtain, a chewed-up shoe. And there, in the stillness, comes a sound so faint you almost miss it. A whimper. Soft. Fragile. Like a tiny thread pulling at your heart. Why does that sound stop you cold? Because unlike a bark or a growl, a whimper isn't meant to be loud. It's not a call to action. It's a confession. It's your dog saying, I feel small right now. I know I crossed a line. And I don't know if you still love me. And what's beautiful and heartbreaking is that they don't whimper to manipulate. They do it instinctively, like a child crying under their breath, hoping you'll hear. It's vulnerability made audible. Think about it. How many times in your life has a whisper carried more weight than a scream? When someone you love didn't shout, they just let a sigh slip out, or a crack in their voice gave them away. That's what a dog's whimper is, a sound of emotional nakedness. And sometimes it's not even meant for your ears. It's their way of processing shame, grief, hope, all tangled into a trembling thread of sound. But what if your dog doesn't just whimper? What if their whole body shifts into a silent pose of surrender, like they're laying their heart at your feet? That's the next sign. And it might be the purest form of apology your dog knows. Number 8. The body that bows to your mercy. There's a moment when your dog stops trying to fix it with nudges, sounds, or glances. Instead, they simply lie down slowly, completely. Belly up, legs bent in tail, tucked tight. Not playful, not lazy, but deliberate, exposed, silent, vulnerable. Have you ever seen someone say, "I'm sorry," without speaking, just by the way they stand? Maybe a child lying face down on a bed after breaking something. Maybe a partner, shoulders slumped, waiting for the storm to pass. Dogs know that language, too. When your dog rolls over like that, they're not giving up. They're giving in, offering themselves up with complete trust. In the wild, that position is dangerous. Belly exposed means you can hurt me if you want to, and yet they do it. For you. Why? Because that's how deeply they care about the bond. They're not afraid of punishment. They're afraid of disconnection. That belly-up posture is not a tactic. It's a truth. I belong to you, even now, especially now. And it's not just the body. Look closer. The ears are still low. The eyes flick up just once. Maybe there's even a soft sigh, like they're saying, "I don't know how to fix this, but I trust that you do." This is not drama. It's devotion. But the story isn't over. Because just when things seem still, just when the apology has been given in full, there's one last sign. A change in breath. A quiet shift in rhythm that tells you, peace has returned. That's the moment we'll explore next. And it's one of the most healing moments between a dog and the human they love. Number 9. The breath that says, "It's over now." There's something powerful about silence, real silence. Not the tense kind, but the kind that settles after a storm. And if you've ever had a long relationship, you know that silence often says more than words. Your dog knows that too, especially when they've done something wrong. After the pacing, the hiding, the glances, the whimpers, there comes a shift. You notice it not with your eyes, but with your gut. Their breathing slows. The shallow, anxious pants begin to deepen. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly. Like a wave that has finally reached shore. That's not just rest. That's resolution. Because dogs breathe like we feel. When they're stressed, their breath is rapid, light, almost panicked. But when forgiveness begins to fill the room, even just a little, they release. And in that release is the message. Thank you. I feel safe again. You may have seen it before. After a tense moment, your dog walks over, curls beside you, lets out a long exhale. That breath, that's not just relaxation. That's trust exhaling. It's a full body, "We're okay now." Have you ever done the same? After a hard talk with someone you love, there's a pause, then a breath. Not forced, just final. Like the moment your heart decides to let go. Your dog's apology ends the same way it began, not in noise, but in presence. But we're not quite done. Because now, after everything you've seen, after the tails, the eyes, the belly, the breath, there's one final truth I want to leave you with. And it's not just about your dog. It's about what they've been trying to teach you all along. Now, you've seen it all. The still tail, the lowered eyes, the nuzzle, the corner retreat, the sigh. One by one, your dog has shown you their apology, not with words, but with gestures so small they're easy to miss. Unless your heart is listening. And maybe now you're starting to see what you've always felt deep down. Dogs don't say, "I'm sorry," the way we do. They say it with trust, with presence, with silence, with their bodies curled near yours, like punctuation marks at the end of a sentence that only love can write. So next time you find shredded paper or scratched doors, or silence where barking should be, pause. Look beyond the mess. Listen for the apology, hidden in their posture, in their breath, in the way they can't stop trying to come back to you even after being scolded. Because dogs don't just seek forgiveness, they model it. Over and over again, they remind us connection is more important than control presence, more powerful than punishment. And here's the part that might surprise you, those subtle signs. They're not just apologies, they're love letters. Written in tail tucks, in dropped ears, in warm sighs against your feet. Your dog has never stopped saying, "I love you." You just needed to learn their language. So tell me, which one of these signs have you seen in your dog? Which moment broke your heart a little and healed it in the same breath? Leave a comment below, because your story might help someone else understand their own dog a little deeper. And if this video helped you see your dog with new eyes, stay with us. The next one will take you even further into the places where dogs carry grief, memory, and loyalty long after the moment is gone.